Half of people in the UK say that they don't know what accountants actually do. Some people have described the profession as mystical. Apparently, we mainly cater for the wealthy. If you think accountants are only for the wealthy, you probably won't ask for help until it's too late. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never been called mystical before. And if accountants are only for wealthy, then I must be doing something all wrong because most of the people I help aren't swimming in cash. They're struggling to keep their businesses and families afloat. So today I'm going to unpick what accountants really do and why it matters to normal people like you. So there's a myth versus reality. Research showed that about 50% of the public don't actually understand what accountants do. And there's this stereotype that we're doing tax returns and spreadsheets, and then there's a big fat invoice at the end of all the work that we've done. And to be fair, yes, there are numbers involved. Yes, there are tax returns involved. But if that's all you're thinking that we do, you're missing 90% of the bigger picture. And here is the reality. I get calls from people who can't pay their tax bills. They're terrified of HMRC knocking on the door. I might work with a family who've lost a loved one and they kind of don't know where to start and they've got inheritance. I sit down with small businesses trying to figure out if they can afford to take on their first employee or how do they actually grow their business more effectively. That's not about being wealthy. That's about needing help, often at your most stressed and your most vulnerable. So here are a couple of real stories to kind of help you understand kind of what accountants would do. Is last week someone booked in for an appointment with me, first time I'd ever met them, and they'd been offered a directorship in a company that they work for. They knew they needed someone to help them and guide them. Well, one of my clients sensibly gave them my number and I helped them understand the risks. Another example, one of my clients rang me asking if he can take £2,000 of extra cash out of his company as his boiler had broken at home. These are kind of things that are just, might seem like they're mundane, but when we've set up a remuneration plan, people just don't know and they need someone just to help them. Another person rang me out of the blue saying they'd hit the VAT registration threshold and they were in a flat panic, not knowing what to do. And the first thing to do is not to panic. This isn't a mystical job I'm talking about. This is about practical advice that's going to help people sleep better at night. I suppose why does all this matter is, I said at the very start of this, is if you think an accountant is only for the wealthy, you probably won't ask for help until it's too late. And yet the right advice at the right time can be life-changing. It could stop penalties piling up. It could help you sleep better at night. It could free up cash in your business. Or I could show you a smarter way in which to structure things. And it's not just me as an accountant. It's a lot of accountants out there are really, really great at doing this. They help you understand complex tax rules so you can keep more of what you earn. That's brilliant, isn't it? Quite often, if you think about accountants as just doing a tax return at the end of the year, it's too late. You need someone who's going to be kind of proactive. And we're not just about numbers, we're about clarity and confidence. And often that bit of calm as well is that new client who rings me up saying, oh my God, we've gone over the VAT registration threshold. Is I can be calm and controlled. I've seen that so many times before. What about technology? Surely, my profession's at risk of technology. And some people would say, well, I can just use QuickBooks or Xero. I don't need an accountant. Yeah, I get it. Software makes bookkeeping so much easier, but software doesn't talk to HMRC for you. Software doesn't know the right things to say to HMRC. And especially when you're under pressure and you haven't got enough time to make that call, we can just do it for you. It doesn't know your goals. It doesn't know your family. It doesn't know that you'd like to retire at 55. And AI, I'm a huge fan of AI. It's brilliant at automating admin, but it's not going to sit down with you and look you in the eye and say, it's going to be all right. And here's what you're going to do. AI doesn't have my years of experience to apply specifically to your situation. Those situations I've seen countless times before. I think most importantly, AI doesn't have professional indemnity cover like I do. This is about humans, and my profession as being an accountant is about dealing with humans. We fundamentally We care about our clients. So here's something practical. How do you go about choosing a good accountant? Well, first, match them to your size. If you're a small business, you don't need a big four firm or someone who does complex tax planning for like multinational companies. You need someone who understands your challenges that you're going to face every day. And if you've got a small business, then it's probably, I'm guessing with this, but it's probably cash flow, payroll, VAT going to be high on your list. And you want to find a firm that's going to be good at that. My firm, Orange Umbrella, that's exactly what we do. And we know we're good at that sort of thing. So they're the types of clients that we want to work with. The second thing is think about the approach as well. I'm what you would probably refer to as a technology accountant. I love applying systems and processes and automation into small businesses. And I'm someone who'll help you use that piece of software. So the idea is that I'm going to save you time, cut your costs down. My point is that you need to look at accountants in your local area and choose one that meets your needs. Thirdly, you've got to be honest about what you actually need. I'm not always the right fit because I'm not an aggressive tax planner. I don't do things like R&D tax claims. But you want an accountant that's going to be right for your business and to help you make the right decisions at the right time. And if you want someone like me who will answer the phone and talk to you and be there when you've got your day-to-day mundane stuff that needs to happen in your business, then yeah, that's what you need. But if you do need complex tax planning, then go and find one of those. In short, not all accountants are the same. In my business, I offer like a free 1-hour consultation for all new clients. This is both for the client's benefit and my benefit because we can actually decide whether we're the right fit for each other. And it's not uncommon for me to say, do you know what? You need a really complex tax planner or you need this particular specialist. And that's absolutely fine. There's certain types of work that I just don't do. We don't do charity work. I'm not brilliant with motor trader accounts. So I just stay away from that sort of work. But it still leaves me with a huge number of people that I can actually help. Often accountants are a bit too keen sometimes to say yes, they'll do something when they possibly should say no. So definitely bear that in mind if you're thinking about choosing an accountant. So the next time you hear someone say, accountants are for the wealthy and what they do is mysterious, think about this video. Most of my work is about helping everyday people through tough situations, making better decisions and helping them grow their business. I recorded a video about director pensions, which it should be popping up on the screen about now. And that's worth a watch because it gives you a great understanding about how an accountant like me can break down something really, really complex into something that's simple to understand, how it will save you tax, and it's also going to build for your future. It's one of the perfect videos to really help you get your head around what an accountant should be doing for you. And this channel is testament to what I do. You'll find videos that are really driven from questions that my clients ask me every single week, like just saying, how do I get more customers? Or things like, how do I create a bookkeeping spreadsheet? Or how do I prevent sick days in my team? They're all questions that clients fundamentally ask me every single week. So I tend to sit down and think, oh, yeah, that'll make a really good video and I'll record something. Just remember to hit subscribe. So whenever I do share a video, you'll be notified of it. And best of luck choosing your accountant. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.